An odd thing is happening in Russia lately. In the last 3 weeks or so, the markets are up. There's a certain degree of optimism. Russia is going through the worst economic collapse in its history. It's publicly admitted by everyone in Russia. Even Putin now himself admits serious economic challenges in Russia. He never ever does that, and he does it now. Yet, the markets are optimistic. There's hope for them, for Russian authorities, and even for Russian President Vladimir Putin. The hope is called Donald Trump. Today, I will tell you what Trump has done in the first 3 weeks of his presidency for both Russia and Ukraine. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, there's no BS, propaganda, or lies here, only truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions, because I'm still a human being. Please forgive me, I'm still not feeling 100%. But I just can't wait any longer. I have so many things to tell you. And today I'm going to be talking about the actions of the new American president, what he has done for Russia, for Ukraine. And there are many expectations of him. But before I start, I want you to be civil. US politics, and Donald Trump in particular, somehow make many Americans outraged when I even bring it up. Guess what? I'm not talking about the US politics. It's none of my business. If you love Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump, please keep it to yourself. I want to comment on the subject. That's it. Speaking of the subject, I know that since January 20th, the new American president has taken a few actions, including the raids on illegal immigrants in the United States. He placed a trade tariff on China, etc. I am not going to discuss that today. This channel is called Inside Russia, and the trade war between the USA and China is none of my concern. What is of my concern, what Donald Trump does that affects Ukraine and Russia. And this is what I'm discussing. So if you have something to comment on this subject, please do so. I'd love to hear your opinion on that, but please be civil. So despite dire situation in the economy, and we can see that from all key economic indicators, the key interest rate, the inflation, the unemployment, etc. Despite all the negativity, Russian markets haven't crashed. Mosbirja, Russia's stock exchange, has rebounded after a disaster in December. Same goes for Russian ruble in general. The community is optimistic. And the reason for that, the new American president, Donald Trump. There's one thought among many Russians, including authorities, economic experts, political scientists, propaganda, and even regular people in Russia. Trump will lift up sanctions against Russia any day now, and things will get back to normal. Well, it's been some time, a few weeks, since Donald Trump has become the president, so he has something to show us. Something he has done already. And he is full of energy. Okay, he's doing things. He, I guess, tries to keep us on his promises to the American public, the voters. He's active. He has done things. So, what has he done? Number one, Donald Trump has stopped adding new sanctions against Russia. In particular, Russia's oil tanker shadow fleet. he has put a freeze on new hirings in all federal agencies in the United States, including the Treasury. The US Treasury has a department called Foreign Asset Control, which is responsible for tracking Russian assets and coming up with new sanctions against Russia. The last Russia-related action was taken on January 15th, and it's easy to check. Just go to the website, Foreign Asset Control. So, January 15, nothing since then. Before, there were Russia-related actions taken almost every week, and it can be clearly tracked on the website. So, Russia-related actions work has been paralyzed. And with the goal of further cutting costs, it is obvious that the Foreign Asset Control Department will slow down taking further Russia-related actions. This is a huge win for Putin. He is the most vulnerable now. The Foreign Asset Control started working very efficiently against Russia's shadow oil tanker fleet in the second half of 2024, and now they need anything but slowing down. But its work has been halted, paused. Putin can now catch his breath, get some energy, regroup, rename oil tankers, change the owners of tankers, replace them with fresh owners, remove those owners who have been placed under personal sanctions, find new tankers, find new banks to do transactions, find new shipping companies, and so forth. He has gotten a much needed break. A huge, huge, huge win for Putin. Number 2, Donald Trump has ended a task force within the US Department of Justice that was targeting assets of Russian oligarchs. Well, I am not sure whether the task has been disbanded or it simply has been geared towards a different goal. But it's definitely not hunting down Russian oligarchs. Now, Russian oligarchs are friends and loyal supporters of Vladimir Putin. They finance the war in Ukraine. They circumvent sanctions. They help import military technologies. They sell Russia's natural resources and bring much needed dollars to Putin and his budget. They launder Vladimir Putin's money. They are the disease. And the US government has given up on fighting them. And it did a very good job before. Now it's done. No more. The task force is not hunting down Russian oligarchs. This is another big victory for Vladimir Putin. These two things that I just mentioned, these two actions, are a catastrophe. Well, not really. Not on the scale of catastrophe. What it is, certainly a bad sign for Ukraine. It outlines the direction the USA is moving towards. Putin, for the first time in 3 years, is victorious. Now he gets out and sends everyone a message, inside Russia and outside. And it has been going on for a couple of weeks now. And of course it's not a direct message, but it's, that's what he means. And the message is, I was right. I promised we will prevail. We will be victorious. We will get up from our knees. And I have delivered. The sanctions in the USA are on pause now. There's no one to take care of them, to continue them. The oligarchs can now sleep well. I have delivered on my promises. The promises I have made before. And he has delivered. He has delivered, all right. I consider it's it's pretty solid victory for Putin. Before I jump to number 3, the demands for rare earth, I would like to thank you, the community of Inside Russia, the supporters. Thank you for watching my videos, for liking them, for subscribing to the channel, for sending me messages, for praying for me, with me, for sending me love. Thank you so much. Much needed, very appreciated. I promise you that no matter what, no matter whether I'm monetized or demonetized, I will continue doing what I'm doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So going to number 3. Donald Trump has demanded Ukraine to supply the USA with rare earth in exchange for further military and financial assistance. I quote Donald Trump, "I told them that I want the equivalent of like $500 billion worth of rare earth, and I have essentially agreed to do that." And he's right. President Zelensky acknowledged, and he said that Ukraine agrees. Now, this is something I didn't see coming, and it is shocking to me. Ukraine is a small, peaceful country, a victim. It got attacked by a bully neighbor, which is threatening not just the existence of Ukraine, but the existence of the current world order. The world immediately jumped to help when the invasion began, and the USA led the help crusade. Just recall 2022. The United States of America proved its leading position in the world. It did the right thing. It started helping Ukraine. And after 3 years, the USA completely changes its stand and demands something valuable from Ukraine in return for aid, rare earth. The message the USA has sent is very simple. We stop all the help, but we can sell you weapons and ammo. We can sell you everything. We can sell you dollars. It's a transactional-based relationship now. America, where is your dignity? I find it very low. The image of the country has been served a pretty darn big blow. That transactional relationship falls right into line with Putin's transactional model, where there are no values, just transactions, just profits. America, I knew, ran on kindness, on volunteering and charities. I personally volunteered with an organization called Maine Adaptive. I dedicated every Tuesday of every week of my life to drive to a mountain called Sunday River and gave my time to the disabled, people less fortunate than I am. And I didn't ask anything in return. Neither did hundreds, perhaps thousands of people around me. And I saw this philosophy of American society everywhere. People were incredibly kind in giving and sharing. And they didn't do it for profit. They didn't do it at transaction type, I give something to you, you give something to me. No, they just were nice and kind, and they were just giving without expecting something in return. I remember, it just blew my mind. I loved it. I felt right at home then. Russia was very, and still is very different. Everyone demands something in return. Putin has been forcing this transactional model on everyone, and America is demanding rare earth in exchange for the aid. It's definitely a step towards the brave new Russian world where the strong ones rule, and the strong ones can just blackmail the weak ones. This rare earth demand is definitely a victory for Putin worldwide. It's not just a victory for Putin. It is, but it's not that much of a big deal for him, I think. What it is a loss for the West. It's a loss of values. It's a loss of this model of life that is based on kindness. That's what it is. At the same time, it's a huge loss for the USA. In my opinion, the USA shot itself in its own foot here. And there's also a second part of the story, and it's actually a blow to Putin. You see, Trump demanded rare earth from Ukraine in exchange for military and financial aid, and Ukraine agreed. It agreed to exchange its rare earth for American weapons and dollars. It means that the armament supplies will continue. And that was what Russia was very afraid, was afraid the most. It's clearly losing the weapons battle. Russia does have people, still does. I mean, Russia is a big country, but its weapons cannot compare to the high-tech American weapons, okay? And look at this rockets, Storm Shadows, Atomics. I think Storm Shadows come from Britain, but Atomics are American rockets, and they're flying all over Russia, and the Russians can't do much about them. Okay, so Putin was hoping that the shipments of weapons would stop when Trump becomes the president, and Trump, I guess, made a deal with Zelensky, and the shipments will continue. Ukraine will continue receiving the military supplies from the USA, and it is a big loss for Putin. Number 4, the peace negotiations have not started. Donald Trump promised American voters to end the war in first 24 hours of his presidency. It's nearly a month now, and negotiations have not even started. Not the end of the war, but is not near, but the negotiations haven't started. Donald Trump has nominated Keith Kellogg, a former national security advisor and retired lieutenant general in the US military, to be a special envoy to Ukraine and Russia in this ordeal. In America, to my complete amazement, they use the word czar. Ukrainian war czar. I am personally allergic to this word. To have czar is not cool. Americans, you be careful with the word czar. It always starts out small. Czar this, czar that, oh, that's funny, oh, it's not for real. And then one day you'll wake up and you will have a czar running your country. And you'll be wondering, how the hell did we get there? Well, here, I guess. Trust me, I know, and that's exactly what happened to my country. Anyway, the special envoy has been appointed, and he has been given 90 days to organize the start of the negotiations. 3 months just to get started. Now, not to get to the peaceful resolution, to the peaceful agreement, but to start. And this is bad for both Russia and Ukraine, for very obvious reasons. Blood is shed every day. People keep on dying. And resources of both countries are nearly depleted, both Russia and Ukraine. No peace agreement at this point is a big loss for Putin, but also a big loss for Zelensky. Not just Putin and Zelensky, but for Russia. I guess for Putin and for Ukraine. Let's put it this way. And number 5, 2 days ago, Donald Trump confirmed that he talked to Vladimir Putin on the phone to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. The US president said that he believes the Russian leader does care about the number of people being killed. Trump also said that he maintains a good relationship with Vladimir Putin. When asked about that conversation, Vladimir Putin neither confirmed or denied it. This is a triple win for Putin. Donald Trump did nothing but legitimized him. Even just a little bit, but legitimized. Now, Putin started the war for no good reason. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed. Tragedies. Tragedies on top of tragedies on top of tragedies. Ukrainian cities have been razed. Russia has stolen so much Ukrainian land. That's been Putin's will, his decision. One person's decision. And he can end this useless criminal war at any moment. Just like that, at a snap of his finger. He can end it now, but he doesn't. He doesn't care of the lives lost. He doesn't care of the tragedies. He only cares of his personal interests. And here comes the US President, Donald Trump, the leader of America, the person with a good judgment, or at least the majority of Americans think so. They just voted him into the office. They trusted him with the presidency. And this person, trustworthy, with good judgment, comes out and publicly, so the entire world listens and hears, says Putin does care about the number of people being killed, and that he maintains a good relationship with Putin. I'll translate into plain English. Putin is a caring leader who is having a good relationship with the US president. Putin's all right. That's the message. This is the first time I hear something in the West, in the very heart of the West, in the United States, about Putin does caring for people in his country, and that the U.S. president maintaining a good relation with Vladimir Putin. I think this win cannot be underestimated. That's a triple win for Putin. This is it so far. Again, no judgments, no opinions on my side, just the facts. This is what has been done. Vladimir Putin and Russian people still consider Donald Trump a savior of Russia. It's been public all over Russia. It's gotten so crazy that Russian people are trying to reach out to Donald Trump, asking him to help fix their homes. Yes, it happens. I'll show it to you in the crazy news update that is coming up in a couple days. In other words, everyone in Russia, in Trump, they trust. And at this point, they have no reason to be disappointed. The trust is still there. This can change, of course, any day. And you know what? I have a feeling that it will change, okay? Because Donald Trump is not on Russia's side. But I will be looking closely and making you informed of what's going to happen in the following weeks. Every day I select 9 news that I find important and I make them available to patrons of Inside Russia on patreon.com. So if you want to stay on top of things Russia and you didn't know where to find them, the right news, look no further, become a patron and get 9 news a day, 54 news a week, and grow to become an expert. I'll see you soon. Carthago delenda est.